If I told you how I bought over 10,000 properties with cash, would you stay and listen? Well, today I'm going to talk more about that because I've been telling my secrets. I'm dumping it all right here on Facebook. I'm a land wholesaler. I flip land across the Western United States. I have flipped thousands and thousands, and I'm done flipping. I'm here to tell you my secrets. But today, first, I want to start with our announcements. And if you are not familiar with the daily announcements, you're not following the right people, the right influencers. Because if you were, you would know that just being Melanie, she just made People magazine. I love to share her content. Anyway, she always has her hair up, glasses on her head, and we're just going to pull out our marker like she does, right? And then you got to adjust everything. Okay. So today we are ready for our announcements. You know what is my favorite take on her? Because she so reminds me of me. Who is she? Just being Melanie Sanders. And she did hit People magazine as just somebody that happened to go big on the internet. And she deals in menopause, perimenopause, and she's got all these fans, and they send her what they just do not care about. She is the We Do Not Care Club. And I guess that probably my favorite ones are, I don't care that I forgot what I was saying in the middle of the sentence. I was done talking to you anyway. Oh, I'm not, and okay, I do not drink alcohol anymore. I'm a recovered alcoholic for almost 4 years. I have no desire to drink. And, but there's that one that says, we don't care if the bottle says, do not drink with alcohol, do not take with alcohol. We're risk takers. And she always takes and marks it off right there in yellow. And that's what that's all about. So shout out to her. Good for her. She's really brought a lot of awareness to the issue through comedy. And I love a good comedy. So you can find her on my page, my favorite one of her yet. So if you want to find out, you want to start somewhere, how do you know? Today I want to talk about how do you know what you're going to sell it for if you buy it. And so, first of all, welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games. Yeah, because it's a fun game. And so I do love putting on my Guns N' Roses shirt. It is a fun game, and it's just a freedom and way of life. So I do relate to that when I put this shirt on, and I put it on purpose. Okay. So how are you going to know what a piece of property will sell for? How did I figure it out? Well, my ex-husband, it was eBay back then, and he had a 3-ring binder, and he made a list of all the sellers that he was seeing. And then he went through the eBay solds, and he said, well, that sold for this, that sold for this. And it's repetitive. You know, the same area sells for the same thing. And okay, so that's not really here anymore. But I was thinking this morning, what could you do? You could go to my website, and you could start researching what are my sold properties for. You know what? He searched it for 6 months, researched every single property that sold on eBay. He had at least 15 different sellers. He never told me what he was doing. I just knew that he was spending a lot of time, you know. He would get up early in the morning, and he would spend about an hour before work. He was writing something down, and he did tell me, I got something I'm going to share with you at some point. But man, I was so done listening to his get rich schemes through real estate. He had a stack of books beside him. That became a problem. everybody else is going to Hawaii. All we ever do is read books on how to make money in real estate. Bless his heart. So if you were to go to my website and you were to write down, start searching all of the assessor parcel numbers, we call that the APN. What's the APN? Well, it's that little digit that identifies the property. Sometimes there can be an owner number too, so you need to know what you're searching by at the county. Is it the property number or the owner number? Usually referred to as the assessor's parcel number though. So if you were to go, say that you were watching my website and, well, you can't really see what New Mexico sells for because that is a non-disclosure state, but all the other states you could go to and go, well, look at that. I've been tracking that piece of property in Nevada that she sold. And you see what I had it listed for on my website, and then you get to go to, you'll see it put up for sold on my, it'll click it to sold once I sell it. And then make a list, start going into the assessor's database and seeing what I sold that for. A lot of my properties though are sold for cash. I'm sold for contract instead of cash. So my secret formula, it's not a secret formula, it's my business formula. If I bought that property for $1,000, I am going to want to get $2,000 for it. So I'm probably going to put it up for sale for about $2,500. So there's a little bit of room for negotiation. If I wanted to sell it on a contract, I would go 1.5 to 2 times that amount. If it was a really, really cheap property, say I sell lots for $500, a half acre, $500. So, I'm going to put that on a contract for $1,000, probably. However, I sell a lot of contracts on, same as cash deals. So for instance, say that cash price is $5,000 and it's $7,500 on a contract. I'm going to write into that contract that if you pay me off within 6 months, I will discount it back to the cash price. Depending on the size of the contract, you're either going to see a 90-day, 180-day, or a 365-day. Why am I doing that? I am looking for those people that are spending money and planning things. So say that you are going to get a tax refund. I want your tax refund. If you're looking to buy land, I want your tax refund. But how did I know that? Over the years, people would say to me, well, hey, Char, I've been looking at your website and I've just sent my tax refund in and I'm expecting it back. And I want to make sure I get that piece of property. Well, fine, put it under contract with me, pay me off early, and you will get that cash price. Granted, I don't negotiate that cash price because I held that contract for you. So I don't negotiate financing price. I don't negotiate the cash price on that financing price. I don't negotiate the early payoff price. So back to when you are looking at my solds, what are my comparables? Well, I've got a lot of different things going on. The comparable might just simply be a cash price. So you might see that sell for $5,000. You might see that get turned in for $7,500. When I sell something in a disclosure state, you have to fill out an affidavit of value, kind of also known as your transfer form. Whether you're transferring something that you sold to somebody or you're going through a divorce and you're transferring assets, that will trigger whether or not there could be excise tax on that and recording fees. So if you are looking at, so my contract pays off and I've got to turn all that into the assessor, so they get a lot of different assessed values. People have different needs. Somebody might pay, certainly you're going to pay more for a piece of property if you're buying it on financing rather than cash. So man, you want to buy a piece of property from me, start saving your own $125 every month, because that's my minimum payment. It used to be $100. times have changed, processing fees change. My minimum now is 125 because I at least want to net out $100 on that deal for the month. Okay, so you could go through and you could start looking at, you could Google Smile for You. Go see what I've sold. Not Google it, go to the assessor's website, start searching what I own, start looking at what it sold for. So you can go look at comps. That's, a comp is not saying that I have it for sale for 5,000 and my competition has it for sale for 8,000, because I always make my competition, I always look good. My competition makes me look good because I work for cheap, way cheaper than most of my competition. I remember sitting in a tax sale, one of my first ones, Cibola County, New Mexico. Oh, it's a pretty county. Lots of pine trees, Elmore National Monument. Anyway, I was pretty new to the game, maybe 6 months into it. And I was still flying in, taking to most of the places. I had not bought a truck and decided that I was going to drive everywhere because I do not like to be restrained in my time. And I want to know the truck that I'm driving really well because, man, I've been stuck in sand and went over rocks and mountaintops that I had no business going over. So, it's good to know your vehicle that you're driving. The first four-wheel drive I ever drove, it was in Elko, and I stuck it right in the snow, and I'd never had a four-wheel drive before. It took me probably 20 minutes just to figure out how to get that damn thing into four-wheel drive. Okay, so ears are popping this morning. I wonder why. Ooh, feel the energy. Okay, where was I? I'm talking about going through all of the information, finding out what you sold it for, a comp of something asking 10,000, yet when somebody else is asking 5,000 is not a good comp. What would you want to know about that property that's for sale? Probably the biggest place to go search for land is Land Search, Lands of America, Land and Farm. I do not advertise with them anymore. Their britches got way too big. Their pockets got way too big. And I'm not going to pay $1,000 to advertise on their sites anymore. They're way too expensive. I bet they didn't like that. Yeah, I bet they didn't like that. Land Search. I love Land Search. I found them maybe a year ago. There was hardly anybody on there when I started, and now everybody's on there. I don't care, though. Competition is okay. Bring it on. I've never lost at the game yet. So if somebody has a property, or maybe it's a house, Realtor.com. Maybe it's raw land on Realtor.com. Not everybody's a wholesaler. A lot of people will go to a realtor. So what are you searching for your comps? One thing to know, and that you can look on all those websites, is how long has it been on the market? If it's been on there for less than 180 days, that's not a bad time on the market. If it's been on there for 565 days, then it's probably either a bogus listing or maybe the realtor died. I don't know what realtor would keep that kind of stuff on there. Maybe people that are playing games with the market, other sellers that are realtors that want to play bullshit games with people. You see all kinds of things on there. So don't just necessarily take those comps that you see. You need to go back to the assessor's website. What did that sell for? Write down those APN numbers. Spend once a week going in. Did that sell yet? Did it get recorded? Once it gets recorded, then you'll be able to go in and see what it sold for. If something's up for sale, what did it previously sell for? You can look at that information. Don't always use that information, though, as what it's really worth. It could have been really undervalued or overvalued. You don't know. But what it does tell you is, what's the starting point to make an offer to somebody? So say that, somebody says, hey, Char, I got this property and I bought it 5 years ago and I bought it for $5,000. What are you willing to offer me for it? Well, I'm a wholesaler. I'm not going to buy it $5,000. You know, that's not me. I'm probably going to be more on like, say that I thought I could still get 5,000 for that. Today I'm at 2,500. You want to negotiate maybe a little? I don't have a lot of room because that's my formula. But I'm willing to buy it and I got the cash and I know how to do the deal. I'm a sure thing. All right. Well, I am going to cut my videos shorter and talk more because I know that they are lengthy and you don't always have an hour to sit and listen to me yak about stuff. So there you go. This is slot 4, part 1. Peace out.